I want the truth and nothing but the truth.
What's up, everyone? It's your lawyer, Godot. Today, for the first time ever, I'm doing a reaction / debunk of one of Kaleb IA's most recent videos. Now, keep this in mind. This is completely respectful, right? And I want y'all to actually just go and subscribe to his channel. Bro, he's literally the OG of JoJo shit, right? But I just watched this for the first time. I just I just disagreed with at least the outcome, right? And I'm gonna challenge myself, at least in this video. I'm not gonna bring up any calcs, any just manga shit or guidebook stuff. I'm just gonna stay strictly to the anime because I think the outcome of this battle is just very obvious, right? Once again, no hate towards Kaleb IA or anything like that. Just very respectable. I'm just giving my thoughts because in my opinion, I just disagree with this. But let's start this video, and I'll just pause to give my thoughts on other stuff, right? All right, let's go.
Could young Joseph Joestar beat Dio? I'll be going over the idea, and we'll see what we can get off of this, because off the top of my head, he gets clapped in part 3, but let's see what we can do with part 1. So let's look at Joseph Joestar. Now,
Okay, so... oh, I think... Is that an ad? No. Okay, so anyways, right. When it comes to part 3, Joseph getting clapped by Dio, I'm not sure if he's trying to compare, that Dio to part 1. I'm not sure. It's not really a fair comparison, because that guy... Dio has, a stand and stuff like that. You know, the world strongest, fastest, beating up Star Platinum, and, Hermit Purple's, one of the weakest out of the members. It's not too surprising, right? But let's continue.
I'd say that the characters are fairly comparable for the most part.
We've
seen characters lift a lot.
No way. They're not comparable. You know what? Let's just keep going. I'm pretty sure he's going to give his explanation, and I could give my explanation on why I just think the opposite of what he thinks.
A lot in part 1, specifically Tarkus, but lifting doesn't equate to, you know, your attack potency.
Yeah,
so
correct.
Young Joseph Joestar defeated AC/DC. To some, AC/DC was the pillarman that was just there, even if that is the case to you.
Okay, so
AC/DC was a master
wait a minute,
tactician.
I'm going to pause this real quick.
Beats
Keep this in mind. He accepts that Joseph beats up AC/DC, right? He beats them, okay? We're going to keep this in mind, all right? All right, let's continue.
Joseph had defeated them all, including Cars in his ultimate form, who had an IQ of 400, unreasonable biological adaptability.
All right, once again, everyone, here, I'm going to pause it. Once again, keep this in mind. He just said that Joseph beat up, he beat, all the pillarmen, pretty much, right? Let's just say that for, let's say Santana's luck, right? And let's just say that for Ultimate Cars, right? I mean, he did his best, to be honest, right? But at the end of the day, he did win because of luck, right? But there's still feats, okay? All right, let's continue.
You may be thinking, well, if that's the case, Joseph should be able to defeat Dio with no difficulty at all. And
yes, he should. That's not even a question. I'm just gonna say right now, okay? Okay, so everything he just accepted with the pillarmen, just fucking Joseph beating the shit out of him, right? These pillarmen, even the worst one, right? The most fodder pillarman, like Santana. What was it? The main 3 pillarmen just call him a pet. That's how lame he is, right? And that fucking pillarman, Santana, he literally just shits on regular vampires and just vampires in general, right? And just Joseph's surviving with that, and he gets stronger than that character, right? And over time, let's say when he does his Hammond training and stuff, and keep in mind the pillarmen are vastly superior to just vampires, even the strongest ones like Dio, right? And just Joseph's just training his Hammond and shit, and he just fucks up AC/DC. It's not just strategy. He literally stat wise compares to him. He can react to him, he can damage him, all sort of different types of shit. He beats up Wamu and all this type of shit. What was it? And same with Cars. And you guys think, well, what about Ultimate Cars? I'm okay, think about this, right? This is the best feat ever for Joseph, right? Intelligence feat. Well, he literally ran up on the ultimate life form that has that high of IQ, right? And keep in mind, Joseph's been doing some pretty big brain plans and shit like that, right? I wish I had some more scans to show on screen or something, but if y'all go from memory, right? Remember when I think one of Joseph's best intelligence feats from part 2 was the Coliseum run, right? Where Wamu, he blinded himself. He had to use wind or some shit to hit Joseph with some giant little spear or some shit like that, right? From a crossbow. Joseph, like, okay, Wamu did that with like fucking supernatural senses and shit. Joseph did the same exact thing he did, but he just like fucking big brained it. Literally just calced it in real time. That's insane. And then he runs, and then what was it? Joseph runs up on the ultimate life form and outsmarts him multiple times. That's crazy. And fucking Cars is supposed to be like the smartest being on earth, like the most perfect being, and yet he's getting outsmarted by Joseph. That's crazy. But anyways, right?
So if you were to give Joseph the same fight without the stone, he'd die.
Hell no. He would die. I don't know where he's scaling Dio to at all, but Dio does not scale those Pillarmen at all. That is just simply not true. You just watch the anime. I swear. Like, y'all think of Captain. Maybe y'all think of Captain, but just watch the anime. Like, watch part 1 to 2. It's not that long. Watch it, like, I don't know, subject, I guess, if you want more context, right? But literally, just the Pillarmen just scale so far above just vampires in general. It's not even funny. They created them. Like, yeah, the Pillarmen, what was it? Well, specifically, like, Cars made a mask to create them. And all this type of shit. And they just look at him as fodder. Like, none of them could do anything like that. And Joseph's just, like, running up on him, beating him up. It's just not good. And actually, come think of it. Even, let's say, for example, Straitso, right? Straitso ran up on Joseph. Straitso, at that time, was at least comparable to Dio or on his level, right? In terms of being a vampire. He even had the same abilities Dio had, right? Joseph straight up folded him. And then, like, pretty much Straitso before he died, he said, yo, you're going to face the Pillarmen, bro. They are way, way stronger than me. They're, like, beyond your fucking imagination, Joseph. You gotta prepare yourself. You're fated to fight these motherfuckers, right? Like, that's Straitso's final words as, like, at least one of the top tier, or at least the same top tier level of vampire as Dio, right? And that's insane. And what was it? When it comes to the environment, right? I mean, yeah, Joseph does use the environment to help him at least win a lot, but isn't that, like, most fights in JoJo, to be fair? Like, you see, like, at least... Actually, I'm not too sure if Dio uses the environment too much, but at least mainly a lot of people just use the environment to JoJo, like, to fight each other right, try to outsmart each other. And if you give, let's say, Joseph his regular equipment, right? Let's say he's just in a bare field, right? Okay. Give him his regular equipment, let's say his clocker, volley or whatever. And I think, what was it? Yeah, of course, his Tommy gun. He's just going to solo Dio. He's just going to blitz and one-shot him. You're telling me that... It's like saying Joseph would lose to like one Dio is like saying like any of the Pillarmen would lose to him. And that, like, I know it sounds ridiculous what I just said, but literally, like, these Pillarmen scale way above those vampires, right? Even the strongest ones. And Joseph beat them up. Strategy wise and like stat wise. He was able to hurt them, able to react to them. I just don't get it. Anyways, let's continue.
There'd be no way that he'd fight Cars or even do anything near the same way. And that's the problem here, because against Dio...
Wait. Is he using Cars as an anti-feat? Of Ultimate Cars? No, this can't be, man. This can't be. Wait, I gotta rewind.
Near the same way. And
what? I don't know where that is coming from. Like, why? I don't know why Ultimate Cars is being compared to, like, Dio in terms of, like, what Joseph would do. At least in terms of intelligence and, like, feats and skill, right? Like, Joseph would need to do, like, way less. Like, how do you compare? This is the ultimate. That's not even a fair comparison. That's like Joseph being put in a situation where he has to fight an ultimate life form is compared to just some random vampire that's, like, considered fodder by, like, those people. Even before this guy became the ultimate life form, they were fodder in terms of, like, stats and intelligence. Like, it is, like, what? Like, well, huh? I don't know, like, what? Let's continue.
And that's the problem here, because against Dio, what is he about to do? Let's visualize.
He's about to run his fade. What do you mean? Oh my goodness. Even if you want to equalize the stats, just the intelligence, the skill, and experience advantage that Joseph has, or I mean, come on, it is equal, like, speed, strength, right? But, like, just Joseph literally just takes skills, techniques, experience, and just intelligence, and his, oh my god, it just stomps out Dio, man. It just stomps him out. A guy like Dio, the guy that just had vampire powers for about, I think, a month or something, compared to these Pillarmen that have been living for centuries, bro. Like, they're so good at fighting, and, like, in their experience, like, bro, they're even citing, like, Sun Tzu or some shit, right? It's like, what? And their intelligence Like even once again, Santana, the most fodder pillarman, was able to get a grasp on humanity, learn the language in like a minute, like deconstruct weapons and shit, and give Joseph before like pre-hom training like a run for his money. Like what? Let's continue.
Joseph Joestar from the end of Battle Tendency and a Dio
Okay.
with his body from the end of Phantom Blood. Of course, he's not supposed to have it, but in this scenario, in fairness, let's say that he does.
Once again, I don't get it, bro. He's nerfing. He has to nerf Part 1 Dio for end of Part 2 Jonathan. Oh man.
And how we know that Dio can counterattack a Hamon strike with his freezing ability. Now the question is, well, what can Joseph?
Okay, so unequal stats. That scenario doesn't matter. Like just Joseph blitzes, one shots Dio, no difficulty before he can even try to freeze anything. And if we were to go with like equal stats, right? In terms of like, let's say they're fighting each other, Joseph would just be able to just cope with like whatever Dio has in store for him. Like even for example, let's say like what was it? Joseph, right? In part 2, the beginning, what killed let's say Jonathan, right? Or let's say George, no, it's George Star. Both of them, right? Was vampires, right? And Joseph literally had the prep time to just know how to deal with them. He knows what they're capable of, especially Dio. Like, you don't think no one told Joseph about what Dio was capable of? Like, I'm not even sure, right? But I think, right, in the fight against Straight, so I don't even think what was it, that Joseph even tried to make any physical like contact with them at all. He just mainly used his like gun. He didn't want to try to like punch him or some type of shit, right? He was mainly trying to do that shit. But if anything, in this scenario, it's just this equal stat scenario specifically. It's just gonna go the same way it did with Straight. So, except Dio's just gonna be like worse in terms of like just letting. He's just gonna let Joseph do whatever because he's like a cocky motherfucker. Like I can imagine Dio's just gonna stand there, try to like flex, maybe throw his like maybe try to like intimidate Joseph. Joseph runs up on him, outsmarts him. He calls him a fool. Like says, "You're gonna say this, that." Dio says this and that. All of a sudden, grenades are behind him, and just Dio blows up, right? And eventually, just Joseph just kills him with just Hamon or some shit. I could even imagine. Let's say, well, then again, he's gonna say the environment, but still, like, Joseph's countered those eye lasers before. But anyways, let's continue.
Joseph, and they're both willing to play dirty compared to those that they have fought against. I guess except Card.
I mean, them playing dirty. I mean, I honestly just don't know what to say to that. At least part 1, part 1 Dio. I mean, he's just an evil dude. I mean, like the things I remember him playing dirty at per se was. I can't even count his new abilities. Like I can only think of like the one time where he punched Jonathan in the eye or some shit. Like try to gouge his eye out in boxing. I guess that was him fighting dirty. I can't think of anything else really. Just you may just use his abilities. That's about it.
Joseph finds a way to start a small fire to set his fists ablaze to punch Dio. Dio would most likely just not contest it or just find his way around it.
I mean, Joseph's not gonna really do that. It's like this, right? It's like he's like comparing their intelligence. Like, what are they gonna fall for, right? Okay, so who do you think is gonna fall for who? Okay, so you've got Dio, a guy that just got his vampire powers, right? And his only like I guess intelligence feats, right, is that he was able to at least understand Hamon, right? Like immediately and counter like Hamon warriors, except for like Jonathan, right? And keep in mind the one of the things that Dio got outsmarted by part 1 Dio is that he was like fucking super shocked when Joseph put a sword through him and that the sword was like I don't know, at the fire, right, and it was warming his hands up. That was the biggest big brain play that fucking even Dio, he couldn't even comprehend that. She was like, "What? I can't believe this," right? Compared to Joseph styling, not only just like on a vampire like straight to comparable to Dio's level or on his level, right? But pillarmen and that have lived for like fucking centuries and shit. They know Sun Tzu. They know about everything about history, about combat, right? And they're so fucking intelligent that they can understand humanity, like, and how it progresses in just like less than like a minute or maybe in 15 seconds or some shit. And not to mention, Joseph also outsmarted the ultimate life form. Perfect intelligence, perfect everything, right? More than any animal. Outsmarted that guy. Like, I don't know how Dio is going to stand a chance in the intelligence department. Just Joseph's literally just going to finesse him with Clocker Valleys. I can imagine. How about this, right? Equal stats. Let's say Joseph. Oh no! Oh my goodness. Okay, Dio dodges the clackers, right? And Joseph goes for a strike. In this scenario, he punches Dio. Let's say his hands freeze, and Dio thinks he's got him. Like, oh my god, I got him, right? And then all of a sudden, just Dio's head gets blown off by the clacker volley. He's dead. The Hammond reached his brain, and he's dead. That's literally it. So, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. And they can't even compete in skill either. The only thing Dio really has in skill is that, like, what was it, in the 19th century, like, his boxing skills, I think, were on, like, the 21st century. Like, I mean, none of that's gonna matter. Especially, oh my goodness, Joseph moves like an athlete, too. He's fought, like, I think, combat ops, or Nazi soldiers, all this type of shit. It's ridiculous. But anyways, let's continue.
You know, and honestly, I can imagine a JoJo situation where Dio lasers Joseph's clacker volley, but then Joseph does something with.
Why would he do that? That would be my genuine question to that. Why would he laser his clacker volley? The only time Dio uses his eyes lasers is literally when he's just at his, like, last moments, pretty much. Like, it's his last stand. Like, for example, when he was about to die, like, he was about to die because of Hammond, right, and shit, and he just lasered Jonathan when he never did that before, right? I mean, dang, I wish, like, Dio would have did that, right, when just Jonathan was, like, approaching him with his sword. That would make a lot more sense to. I would probably accept just Dio just zapping the clacker volley, but no, that's not gonna happen. And Dio proves my point once again, where he's just ahead, and once again, that's like literally his only attack. At his last stand, he's at his weakest point. He does the eye laser thing again, so yeah, this scenario is just not gonna happen at all. It's not probable.
With the remains of it, like it's been destroyed, but he uses it to use a diversion or something, hammond it up a bit, and then lock down a kill. But that's disregarding Dio's intellect for the sake of the plot at that point. So I'm honestly puzzled about.
Honestly, like, Dio's smart, but compared to part 2 characters, it's like he's in kindergarten. Like, it's like Dio's like, oh my god, it's like I imagine Dio sitting in a locker room, right, or some shit. And, like, he's reading a kindergarten book on how to become a vampire, how to be a real vampire. And then, like, the Pillar Men, including Santana, come in. No, just Santana himself comes in. He's like, come on, it's your amateur hour. What are you doing? Like, oh, my God.
About the situation. Because Joseph is a genius. That's true. But so is Dio. And in his time underwater, there hasn't been a modern vampire brain on par with Dio in terms of tactical execution and.
Now, in terms of, like, tactical execution, okay, I can definitely agree with this, because, well, like, it's like this, right? Dio's, like, the originator, right? He's come up with the original ideas for vampires and all this type of shit. And Straight So, like, he kind of just tries to emulate that. So, yeah, Dio's, like, definitely at least the strongest, like, vampire in terms of, like, at least in terms of, like, skill and intelligence, right? Because he's definitely Dio's making the brain for himself, bro. Like, Straight So was trying to cop that shit, and Joseph was like, bro, no. Get out of here, you and Dio. Anyways,
innovation with the territory isn't special and you're both on equal footing. The battle is then about,
well, like, that's the thing about just, I mean, I can't believe I'm saying this, but, like, it's not really too fair to just discredit Joseph's feats in, like, different, at least environments, right? And these territories aren't even really that special either. It's like, oh, Joseph, he's in a bar. And now you're thinking to yourself, what could he do in this bar? Like, to beat up Straight So. He uses mirrors. He uses little shot bottles to deflect, like, just deflect the eye lasers and shit like that. Like, small shit like that, right? Joseph has string on him, so basically, it just doesn't, like, what I'm saying is that it really doesn't matter what environment Joseph's in. He's still gonna, like, use his equipment to the best of his capability to, like, it's at least in that environment, right? But looks like this environment's just, like, I guess, completely, like, bare bones. I guess they're in a field or something. I mean, so just Joseph has his Tommy gun, strings, and Hammond clackers. and just himself, that's more than enough to just beat up Dio.
Who has what and can use it better? Joseph is sort of like Batman. He can most likely fare well against the enemy when he has his prep, you know? But then you want to imagine, like, okay, so what if you had a Batman that just didn't know about the existence of Superman? That'd be...
Okay, so, I mean, I get where he's going, but it's not really one-for-one example, right? So, the difference between Batman and Joseph is that Batman, yes, he will, let's say he gets into a fight, right? Let's say this opponent's unknown, he'll back off and retreat, get some prep time, right? Joseph, he literally just does both, right? He can back off and get prep time if he wants to, but Joseph in the middle of a fight also will just literally prep in the middle of the fight. Like, that's his whole, like, strategy. He's like, okay, like, he's thinking of a million ways to beat you, right? And he's trying to predict how you will act, right? That's why he always does, like, your next thing you're going to say is this, right? He just always does that. Literally, Joseph is literally just, like, prep time in a fight. That's the best way I can describe it. He's literally prep times. He just uses prep time in the middle of a fight. He just comes up with that shit immediately. And he's always thinking, like, right? Okay, I mean, oh my God, like, whew. It's like Dio's just going to take his eyes off of Joseph for literally 1 second, and that'll be the end of the fight, right then and there. Joseph already has a plan, and it's already in action. Dio's unaware of it. Like, for all... Like, wait a minute. I don't even think, what was it, Dio is going to know, like, how to, like, you know, interact with, like, any of Joseph's strings, for example, right? What if just Dio starts flying up? He thinks he has the advantage. Let's say Joseph's, like, injured in his leg, right? Dio flies up in the sky, right, to, I don't know, do some extra shit, try to, like, kill Joseph from above. But it turns out, like, Joseph has strings from below, whips that shit up in the sky, has Hammond laced with it, and just fucking destroys Dio. Like, fucking Hammond strings hug him, and he just disintegrates and dies. And that'll be it. And don't even try the eye laser stuff, because if just Dio eye lasers, just Joseph's just gonna dodge, or he's just gonna anticipate it and already be in a dodging motion. It just don't matter.
It'd be clapped, you know? When you have Joseph without prep, you have him versus Wamu when they had first met, or...
Okay. For context for Wamu, he didn't... Right, you're right. He didn't have prep because he didn't know who he was going up against, right? But even then, like I said, he still was prepping in real time, making multiple plans in that scenario, right? The whole thing went like this, right? So Joseph took out his clacker volley. He played the dummy, right? Just so, you know, Wamu would be like, you know, a little off his guard, right? Like, he wouldn't take Joseph seriously. And that was all part of Joseph's plan. Then the clacker hit Wamu straight in the dome, right? If that was a normal vampire, it would have killed that. It would have killed the vampire, right? So he got one over on Wamu. Then Wamu went to, like, you know, one-shot him, right? And then Joseph crawled away. He was still setting up multiple plans. He intended for Wamu to come after him, be like, you're a disgrace, right? Or whatever, right? You disgrace honor. And then Joseph gets a read on his personality. He's like, okay, now I know what to work with, right? He's creating multiple plans. Even Wamu points this out with, like, the stick of dynamite, right? He's like, oh, I'm guessing you're probably going to have a stick of dynamite to try to blow me up or something, right? And then he was right. Joseph still has multiple plans. Even when he's laying down and Wamu's right in front of him, along with the other pillarmen, this dude's finessing them with his words. He's, like, just outplaying them, outsmarting them, giving him more time to live. Like, what? And then with ultimate cars, once again, even though, right, that Joseph didn't, like, you know, technically beat him straight up, right? It was like, dude, luck, right? All the other times, like, that built up to that moment, just Joseph was outsmarting him. That's insane. The ultimate life form. Big brain intelligence. Supposed to have the best intelligence on planet Earth. Best life form ever. Can turn into anything. Supreme intelligence, yet is getting outsmarted by, like, Joseph. How is that possible? Dio does not compare. Like, I don't care if he's read archaeology and has, like, studied some vampire shit for, like, about a month or something. It just doesn't compare to these pillarmen. No way.
Even Joseph against ultimate cars, because those are definitely both times where he should have died, but, you know, just got away through other means.
I mean, Jonathan should have died in, like, part one, like, but when he fought, like, Dio, right? And I'm talking about literally the first time when Jonathan didn't have any hormone. This was in the mansion. He should have died. I don't know what to tell y'all. Like, okay, so I can give you all literally just the timeline, right? Okay, Dio becomes a vampire. Jonathan goes to face him with some kind of javelin. Dio breaks his arm. Then all of a sudden, Jonathan just perception blitzes Dio. Dio's like, damn, this motherfucker's already gone. It turns out Jonathan lit the whole mansion on fire and still is trying to run Dio's fade, right? And Dio, like during this fight, breaks his ribs and just breaks his arms. And yet this guy is still alive. He's still kicking, and he's determined to just kill Dio, right? Yeah, I mean, he shouldn't have survived.
Now,
Right.
it would be fun to throw in the whole Joseph having Hermit Purple at a younger age thing into the mix, but I wouldn't say that.
That's just, I mean, to be fair, if he gets a stand, then Dio gets a stand. And obviously, Dio with a stand part 3 stomps, right? We're mainly talking about part 1 to 2 scaling, right? But if you really want to give like part 2 Joseph like Hermit Purple and not give like Dio stand, and just say it's still part 1 Dio, it's even a bigger stomp than before because now it, just Joseph doesn't really need to do much. What's Dio gonna do when Joseph throws out Hermit Purple and Dio can't see it and then he just dies because Hermit Purple with Haman? What's he gonna do? He can't see it. He can't interact with it. He's not gonna react to it. And if it's equal stats, he's sure as hell gonna get outsmarted or outplayed into being in that scenario in the first place. Like it's just a no win for Dio. I mean,
Most likely screwed, I'd say. I don't think he's got it, but I also don't think that the win is by a large margin. There's
No, the win's by it's not even a large margin at this point. It's just a no difficulty. Like part 2 Joseph just beats Dio up. I just man, just Dio does not compare at all to just maybe he compares to Straight Cell, maybe, right? Like let's say he's above Straight Cell or something. Like or maybe they're equal, but like he just does not compare to any of the Pillarmen at all, even the weakest one. It's very apparent in the anime. Like, oh man.
There's an argument to favor Joseph's intellect by highballing it a bit more to just
There is no highball. Like it just I'm just take things at face value. Just in the anime, man, just you see what Santana does in terms of intelligence and feats, you know, especially stats. Same with the other Pillarmen. It's just no contest, man. Just Joseph's outsmarting them, able to hurt them, and just like you know, able to react to them too and fight at their speeds. It's just ridiculous. I don't know what to say.
be like, you know, ignore what Dio has. He can just outsmart that alone. But the thing is here, I believe that Joseph is always going to need a bit more to contest certain characters. You know, oil and fire against Wamu.
Okay, so once again, it's just showing more of his intelligence feats. It's like he's just outsmarting Wamu, right? With that feat in general, I mean, I get these are, I guess, special like situations, but even if you just want to like limit Joseph to his like, I guess Tommy gun, Holman clackers, and string, just all of his intelligence feats are just alone are just enough to just outplay Dio. Like there's it's so bad. There's nothing Dio can do.
A red stone against cars. You know, what's next, man?
I remember when Joseph used a plane against cars. I remember when he outsmarted cars by literally just putting a fake dummy out side of the plane for cars to, like go into, bait cars to go to the dummy right that's like in a parachute, and then just ram the plane into him. Like he didn't expect that from Joseph, and this is the ultimate life form with supreme intelligence. Like I don't know what else we want like Joseph to do. His big plan was okay, get in this plane, lure cars over or ultimate cars over to this volcano because it's the only thing I can think of that can possibly kill him, right? And that plan works completely. It works.
Like we're just gonna hear him say, you know, flame on, and then just blasts up and just punches right through Dio. You know.
Yes, that's definitely what would like happen. Let's say unequal stats. What happens is, you know it. Joseph blitzes one shots part 1 Dio. Equal stats, Joseph just outsmarts the fuck out of Dio. Like he already knows pretty much everything he's gonna do before he even does it. And just once again, Dio's what was it? The biggest thing that just blew Dio's mind, right? In terms of getting outsmarted was literally just a guy putting a sword through him and then the sword getting warm because fire. Like that compared to outsmarting fucking beings that have lived for centuries, know Sun Tzu, know all the combat strategies, and they can literally, their intelligence is so good that they can learn humanity in their language in like a minute or 30 seconds or some shit. Like what? And defeating the ultimate life form, outsmarting the ultimate life form, that's supposed to have the perfect intelligence on the planet. Like, I just don't know. What?
Like, it seems impractical. And I would have to create a whole scenario in a specific area to where Joseph.
I mean, it's not really practical. Like, Joseph literally to vampires, right? Like, he just goes and just beats them up with his Hamon fists and shit. And if it's something like a vampire like Dio, right? I mean, he'll just outsmart the fuck out of you and just use your shit against you. Like, he has so many things to implement. Like, oh my god.
Can somehow finagle a win rather than a regular old field and nothing happening. But you know, that's just me. You can feel free to leave your comments in on.
But yeah, like basically, I guess his summary is I just watched this. I'm definitely not misrepresenting it. Is okay. So Dio is okay stronger. Okay, so he stat stomps Joseph Part 2, and he has the better intelligence. Experience than him, and that would also mean that Part 1 Dio is able to run the fade with any of those pillarmen. Like that's the thing we have to believe in order to believe like Dio beats young Joseph, like or Part 2 Joseph. I don't know, it's like pretty, at least insane to me.
For this fight, I do think that Dio wins, but you know, again, there's an argument to be made that Joseph is really just that smart and he'd be able to win. And if that,
yeah, at least the way he's talking, I think he meant this video at least to be like equal stats, right? But yeah, just once again, I already said what I'm saying. I'm not gonna repeat myself. Let's
that's
continue.
what you believe, that's also fine. Hopefully I'll see you all in the next one. Until then, peace out. And
all right, that's pretty much honestly, this video wasn't really that bad, but like just once again, no hate to Kaleb. I just simply like disagree, right? But like, also make sure don't leave any like fucking hate comments or some shit like that. Like just don't do that shit if y'all watching this video. Like come on, like don't do that. Because I really love his videos. I like subscribe, watch this shit all the time, right? And all this like type of shit. Like if he didn't make this channel, I really would probably not have got to making JoJo shit at all. But like yeah, you know. Also, I got a fun thing for y'all, right? Also, make sure to like and subscribe to also this video too, and also his videos and stuff like that. Like and subscribe to his videos. But make sure, right? I'm gonna give the viewers, the fans. Okay, I want y'all to do something for me, right? Let's do something a little bit fun. All right. So, I want y'all to comment like on his like, just only once, right? Only once. Don't fucking spam it. Don't be a weirdo. But comment on his like I guess his most recent like Twitter post, and on the of course this YouTube video that I just reacted to will also be linked in the description. Everyone go watch it, okay? Just comment Jobber Godot wants to be your lawyer, Kaleb. I want to be your lawyer. Yeah, but make sure to comment that. Once again, Jobber Godot wants to be your lawyer, Kaleb. That's all you gotta say or you gotta put in the comment section of this video I just reacted to, / debunked, and also like his Twitter. But yeah, also another thing, what to expect for the next videos. So 2 things that are definitely coming out, right? Make sure it come out as soon as possible. I'm working on right now is the Jonathan, not Jonathan. Yeah, no, actually it is Jonathan. Sorry, Jonathan Joestar video from Part 1, scaling him out, and also gonna be dropping actually a video request, right? Which was it was Software Go Beyond or Josuke, right? Versus Popeye the Sailor Man. But yeah, I hope y'all enjoyed this video. Once again, no hate towards Kaleb. Go like and subscribe to his video, and also to this one too. And don't forget, Jobber Godot wants to be your lawyer, Kaleb, in his comment section in Twitter. Anyways, I'll see you later. Peace.
Yeah, good job.